First of all, I want to congratulate Coach Sawyers and his staff and his team on an outstanding year. The accomplishments certainly need to be noted to win in the regular season in the Ohio Valley and then win in the tournament. That's not an easy thing to do. So certainly nobody wants to end their season, particularly on a day like today, like they did. But it shouldn't take away from anything that this team has accomplished during the year. So, congratulations to them. I also want to thank, Walker Powell, our starting pitcher today in the winter in our game for having enough faith in us and coming back, after last year and could have gone other places as we see kids do today and jump to other programs. But he's a company man who started with us and finished with us. So very proud of him and his accomplishments. The same way for Hunter Stanley yesterday. We wouldn't be where we are today in our season and wouldn't have been able to get there without these two young men and the impact that they made. So very proud of his outing today. Certainly it started strong. Gave up a couple of hits there in the first inning, but pitched around them and really settled in. And it wasn't until the third inning that we started scoring. And then when we did, it just kept scoring in bunches. And we did a lot of things right today. Obviously, everybody in the lineup except for one had a hit. Several had multiple hits with extra base hits. But we did a lot of things well today. There wasn't a whole lot that I can remember that went wrong, in all honesty, from the pitching and defensive side to the offensive side. We ran the bases extremely aggressive, going from first to third and creating opportunities for us, and then really taking advantage of them at the plate. Yesterday, we saw ourselves leave 10 on, and it really hurt us. And today, where I think we actually left 9 on, we got 21 in. So that was certainly the difference. But our guys used the whole field. They used not only the backside, but the pull side, and they used up the middle. So well played game by our club today.
First question from Andrew.
Yeah, Coach, like you said, a much different game compared to yesterday in terms of the production. I mean, was there any adjustment you guys made between, yesterday and today?
No, I think, obviously the level of pitching that we saw yesterday was a very power, I mean, we saw the ACC pitcher of the year yesterday, and their bullpen was really strong. So, I mean, I think, if you look at any program, that becomes a difference in what happens in the outcome, obviously, of any game. But no, I think more importantly, our guys, we're in a survival mode now. Our backs are against the wall, and it's either win or go home, and that sense of urgency certainly was present today in this game and with our team.
Patrick?
Coach, you've obviously still got Drew Boyd, and you haven't used Ryan Ock yet. How do y'all approach pitching going into tomorrow?
I hadn't talked to Oz yet. Certainly, we were trying to get through today and survive today before we make any decision for tomorrow. So I'm not really at a point right now where I can really answer that question, other than I was glad that Walker went as deep as he was. I hate that the rain delay entered into it, but very thankful that Adams and Gillentine and Hall came in and covered those 3 innings, one apiece, with very minimal pitches, because we got to win 3 games now from here on out. So we'll need all those guys available and more to be able to accomplish that.
Taylor?
Coach, I wonder how this may help the confidence with your guys and how you can kind of bottle up the momentum and try to take it into tomorrow, just the way you guys were able to hit the ball today.
Well, I think any time that your backs are against the wall, or, in boxing, when you're up, your back's against the ropes, you got to be able to come out and get back in the middle of the ring. And that's what we had to do today. Yesterday, that's basically what happened. And today we had to get back in the middle and get after it. And that's exactly what we did. And we put somebody else's back against the ropes today. So, hopefully it'll be, a confidence booster for us. Certainly you got to feel good. I know one thing, there's a difference waking up in the morning after a win from versus a loss. There's a real difference. So it kind of moves you in a different way.
Nick?
Scott, kind of going off of that, in your experience, what happens to a team the day after a win like this, after a 20-run output? Just do you see anything different with the team, or do teams kind of stay steady after they've had a game like this?
Well, I think it's just, I think there's probably different degrees of that. I've been doing it 37 years, and I'm never surprised what happens in baseball and what you see. And when you think you've got it figured out, it shows you don't have it figured out. And there's a reason why people don't say that's football or they say that's basketball, but they always say that's baseball. And just because there's so many different things that can happen in it. So, hopefully tomorrow we'll feel really good about ourselves. Even though we scored 21 runs, I think that the focus ought to be that we won a baseball game, and we did a lot of things well to win that baseball game, and it moved us into a new opportunity to a chance to win another game.
Rick Cleveland.
Scott, in your post-game huddle with the team, did you talk about the chore ahead? I mean, obviously you had a big win today, but there's a lot left to do.
No, not really. I mean, we focused on what we did well today and accomplishing being able to survive and go in and play till tomorrow. So, I mean, really just trying to simplify it in that they know what we have to do. I mean, we don't, honestly, Rick, we don't have to really bring attention to it. I want them to simplify it and know that tomorrow, the most important game on the schedule is that 1 o'clock game, opponent to be determined after tonight's game when they play. So, and that's what we'll try to focus on and try to win that one.
One more thing. Could you talk about Gabe Montenegro and what he's brought to you for so many years?
I'll tell you what, he is just a 100% great college baseball player. He plays the field well. He's been our leadoff hitter for the past 4 years, maybe 5. I don't know. I lose track with these guys, but he's been there a long time. I know one thing, he's the first name that I write on that lineup card and has been for quite a while. So, but just a true baseball player that really understands the game. If you look at the beginning of the year where he struggled and a lot of our other guys struggled, and now where he's gotten to in his game, I mean, for the longest time, he's sitting there hitting 190, and everybody, and including myself, sitting there trying to bang your head on the wall, figure out what in the world's going on. But he found out, or he figured it out, and has just been steady ever since. So he's been a blessing to our program. He's a fine young man that plays the game hard and enjoys playing the game. And you can see his enthusiasm when he plays it. He's a guy that loves to practice the game too. So that's important.
Last question from Andrew.
Yeah, Coach, can you talk about, obviously everybody had great hitting performances, but Sargent with 3 homers and then Gabe and Reed with 5 hits apiece. I mean, can you talk about both of those performances?
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, they're just seeing the ball well. And obviously with Sarge, I mean, he's leaving the yard. We hit 6 on the day and 3 of them were his. But, I just felt like that, those pitches that they got, they didn't miss them. And that's what's important. Call them mistakes, whatever. But a lot of times you see people foul those pitches back. And, when you're on them and you hit them, that's the results you get. Reed, the day that he didn't leave the yard. But, boy, did he use all fields, really backside from the left side, had some big hits and kept the momentum going and kept driving in runs, as did Danny Lynch. I thought he had an outstanding day as well, as far as, and Gabe, all those guys just, had great at bats.
I lied. One final question from Taylor.
Coach, you touched on Walker, but just kind of sum up his career if you can. Obviously, Tommy John surgery twice, and now he's kind of etched his name in the record books with 30 wins at Southern.
Well, he's been a remarkable young man. I'll never forget when he had the first one in high school, and his dad, Matt, called and just wanting to know if we were going to honor the scholarship with that. And absolutely, we believe in him. We believe he has a future for us and a really bright future. And he continued to come on, and he rehabbed, and then, it was devastating when he tore the second one in the conference tournament that year. He felt something, I think, around the 4th, 5th inning, and here we go again. And, not only to go through one Tommy John and have to rehab and do everything that you have to do to get back, but now he's faced with another one. the adversity that he came through to be able to do that, to me, just really defines who he is and his love for the game. As far as the record books, you know, it speaks for itself. I mean, he has just been Mr. Consistent, going out there and in appearances and wins. I mean, he ranks up there in innings. Just a true pitcher. You know, today he covered 6 innings for us. He had 4 strikeouts and once again, no walks. I mean, he just pounds his own, doesn't beat himself very, very often at all, and just defines what a pitcher is all about. And he's been a great model for the younger guys to watch, to go out there and watch how you win and pitch baseball games.